and caregivers. I'm Pamela Wilson, and I am here for your Caregiving and Valentine's Day tip of the day. How many of you saw the movie Forrest Gump? And the quote, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." Well, I can tell you that caregiving is a lot of the same thing. With caregiving, you never know what you're going to get. But I also want to give you a tip for Valentine's Day. So how many of you are out there shopping for your Valentine's Day gifts right now? The secret is everything goes on sale on Valentine's Day at midnight. So what's the difference if you celebrate on the 15th or the 14th? Being practical, celebrating on the 15th, you get twice as much candy for 50% off. And how many of you also have people in your family who will take a piece of chocolate out of a box, take a bite, not like it, and then put it back in? We all know who those people are. So the caregiving tip of the day is, with caregiving, just like a box of candy, you never know what you're going to get. And what I mean by that is there's this crazy thing out there called patients' rights. Now, not that patients shouldn't have rights, but with older adults and care communities, this can get a little sticky, and I'll give you some examples. So one of my clients one day didn't want to get out of bed, and I showed up at a assisted living community at about 11:30, and I woke her up, was wondering why she wasn't getting up, and what I learned was she didn't feel well. The caregivers came in and asked her if she wanted to go to breakfast, and she simply said, "Oh, no, honey, I'm tired today." So they left. I come in at 11:30. She's ashen in color. She's wheezing. She can't breathe. I run and I go get a pulse ox machine, which is a little thing that the doctor puts on your finger to test your oxygen levels. Her oxygen levels are down to 82. If I hadn't shown up that day, I can guarantee you that within 2 or 3 hours, she would have been dead. The next time the caregivers would have come to check on her in her room, my client would have been in the next world. This is what I mean by, with caregiving, you never know what you're going to get. And the concept of patient rights. Yes, everybody should have the right to refuse care and to do things. But the concern is if caregivers taking care of your loved ones aren't proactive, if they're not asking the question, "Wow, you know, Mrs. Smith doesn't want to get up today. Could Mrs. Smith not be feeling well? Could she be sick? Might there be something going on that we should check about?" That is the important thing. So the tip of the day is, with caregiving, you do really never know what you're going to get. It's important to be that advocate for yourself, for your loved one, for everybody involved, because you never know what's going to happen. And if you don't take a more active role, I can guarantee you something unfortunate, like what would have happened to my client if I didn't show up that day, would have happened. Caregivers, aging adults, do you want better care for yourselves? Do you want better care for your loved ones? My website is the answer. If you visit my website, PamelaDWilson.com, you can access a free library of 30 categories of information with all kinds of articles. You can also sign up for my newsletter and my free monthly caregiving support group, which is usually the first Saturday of the month. Again, my website is PamelaDWilson.com. The caregiving tip of the day is, with caregiving, you never know what you're going to get. You have to advocate. I'm Pamela Wilson. I solve caregiving problems. I will see you in the next video. And by the way, which one of these pieces of candy would you pick out to eat?